Hi, this is Vivian Vande Velde. I am going to be reading two chapters today from Alison Who Went Away because one of them is quite short. I am going to be reading chapters 11 and 12. When I get home, Mom greets me like I've just returned from a 3-week camping trip to some war-torn South American country. Even Wally is showing a tendency to hover. I assure them that everybody was nice, that I had a great time, that Mrs. Maraglia was exactly where she was supposed to be at exactly the time she was supposed to be there, and that she's a real careful driver, too. I'm just telling them that I haven't yet been assigned my regular, that I haven't, let me start that sentence over again. I'm just telling them that I haven't been assigned my regular job yet when the phone rings. That'll be for you, Mom says, which is a surprise because my friends aren't allowed to call after 9 and it's almost 10. It turns out to be Dad calling from California, where it's only 7. Hi, sweetie, he says. I hear you're working on your school play. It didn't take Mom long to tell him, I think. I go through it all again, the way I did for Mom and Wally, imitating Father Kevin's way of stressing every third or fourth word, telling how Connie abandoned me and jumped on the singing bandwagon, and about the ugly blonde kid who plays the piano and a troll with his glove on his head. But I don't tell any of them about Matt Burke. Chapter 12. Despite the fact that my family should have me used to being wound up, I'm so wound up about the play that I have a hard time falling asleep. The next morning, I have a hard time getting awake. In fact, I have no clear memory till lunchtime, when a bunch of kids are talking about the Robert Dietz documentary that was on TV last night, and the gross police photos that were shown of the dead women, some of whom weren't found till 6 or 7 months after they were killed because the bodies were dumped in rural areas. Fine lunchtime conversation. Connie is at a different table working with the other editors on next week's issue of the Gabriel, so she isn't around to steer the talk into livelier directions. Today I have phys ed, and the sport of the day is volleyball. Coach Miranda breaks us into 4 teams that she assigns by the order in which we happen to wander into the gym, which is a heck of a lot easier on me than having team captains that look right through me when there's nobody else left, obviously fervently hoping that there's another girl yet to come out of the locker room. There are 2 nets set up at either end of the gym, so we can all play at once. Isn't that a relief? Bertie Dunbar puts herself in charge of our team. Stand right here, she tells me. Lift your arms up, but don't move from where you rotate to. If the ball comes near you, one of us will get it. I salute her and follow her instructions. As I'm leaving, Coach Miranda tells me, simple attendance will get you a D, Sybil. Some effort is required. I salute her too. I'm looking forward to global studies because for the current events board, I brought in a great article about a window washer whose harness broke. He fell 17 stories to his death while his wife, who worked in the office building across from where he was cleaning, watched. But instead of selecting my article to discuss, Mr. Rosenblum chooses Carolyn Tumia's sports article. Everybody knows Mr. Rosenblum's favorite team is the Cleveland Browns. He talks about them enough, and they played a game last night and won. Mr. Rosenblum gives us a lecture on the history of football with all those silly position names. I mean, there's a player who's called a nose tackle. That doesn't bear thinking about. I get back to Rosenblum. We get back at Rosenblum by pretending we can't remember the name of the Browns, referring to them as the Cleveland Tans or the Ohio Beiges. In study hall, Ms. Lamond corners me when I hand her the sign-up sheet. Susan, she says brightly, and I can tell what's coming. How's Alison doing? Miss Lamond was Alison's 8th-grade teacher at Susan B. Anthony School, except she was Miss Lamond then. Miss Lamond kept telling Mom and Wally how much creative talent Alison had, and she even submitted her name to Lakeside School of the Arts for a scholarship. Allison won the scholarship, of course, but it was only for about a third of the tuition, and our family didn't have enough for the rest. Miss Lamond was devastated that Allison ended up going to Abe Lincoln High. I was lucky enough never to get Miss Lamond. If Mom thinks I'm a dummy compared to Allison, what would Allison's teacher think? She left the year after she had Allison in class. She got married to a guy whose company was transferring him to Colorado. But now it's 5 years later, and she's suddenly back, and she's Ms. Lamond, not Miss Lamond, and not Mrs. Van Strydank. And here she is at Mother of Sorrows, overseeing my study hall and asking me about Allison. Nothing new, I tell her. She called last week, and I told her you'd been asking about her. Ms. Lamond recognized my name the first day, way back in September, and asked me then where Allison was going to college. So I told her that Alison hadn't been able to decide and that she and a girlfriend had an apartment in New York where they took special classes from artists and auditioned for parts in plays. How exciting, Ms. Lamond had said, sighing. Oh, to be that young and that carefree. But lately, she wants to know if Allison is any closer to choosing a regular art college, like, for example, Pratt Institute, for which Miss Lamond would be happy to write a recommendation because talent is one thing, but an education is forever. I consider lying to her, telling her Allison has settled on a college, one in Kansas or Montana or Brazil. But with my luck, whatever I chose would turn out to be Miss Lamond's alma mater, or she'd be best buddies with the I'm sorry, she'd be best buddies with the department head there, or somehow or other she'd catch me at it. So I just shrug. Ms. Lamond goes to her desk and gets out a big manila envelope full of college brochures. She's even attached postage. Send these to her, she tells me, or give them to her the next time she comes home for a vacation. I assure her I will. Little Allison Castleman, all grown up and living on her own in New York, she says with a sigh. That sigh adults give when kids make them feel particularly old. With a girlfriend, I correct her, but Miss Lamond hasn't even heard me. I'll bet she turned out to be a beautiful young woman, she says. I figure she means Allison, not the girlfriend. I tell her I have a picture in my wallet, and she has me get it out of my purse. Allison has this incredible blonde hair that cascades in perfect ripples past her shoulders. Her eyes are wide and blue and innocent, but her smile is just a little mischievous. Oh, she is, Miss Lamont says. She is beautiful. I figure nobody will ever say that about me. The best I can hope for is, you have a sweet voice. Is this her senior picture? Ms. Lamond asks. I say yes, even though it was taken in Allison's junior year, because it's faster and easier to agree than to explain. Ms. Lamond hands me back my wallet, and I go back to my seat. In film appreciation, I finally get to put my head down on my desk and go to sleep. I hope that you're enjoying Allison, who went away, and I will see you tomorrow. Meanwhile, stay safe and be kind.